Hey everyone, welcome to the Relationship Smith Show. We are live tonight with what does a unit publicist do, and what does the average day of a unit publicist look like?
The unit publicist gathers all the information needed to promote the film. And we're on set and we schedule which days is best for the stills photographer to come out. Because what will happen at the beginning of a movie is obviously there's a budget. So the stills photographer will have so many days. I will have so many days. Then there's certain many things that we want to accomplish. So one of them is having photos taken on the most important days with the most important scenes. So our job is to go throughout the whole script and then look at the schedule and figure out who's on set those days and what scenes are being shot. And is that a great day for the stills photographer to be on? We'll just say a movie's 30 days and we need 15 days with the stills photographer. So I have to pick the 15 best days. Then we write and contact all the actors' agents and publicists and get their bios, get their headshots, and we create what's called a press kit. So we have the synopsis of the movie, we have the directors, producers, actors, maybe production designers, wardrobe, bios. Then we're on set. If press are invited, we're on press those days. We also coordinate the electronic press kit, which is when the cameras come in and interview the actors. And sometimes it's the unit publicist, and sometimes it's a company hired that does just EPKs. And then we put all that information together. Then we coordinate with the actors and their agents because actors get approval of the photos that are taken. Sure. So we have to control all that. And we pull all that information together and put it in a big package and give it to the studio or the network. So they have all the information to work with. And we're on the ground. And they're usually in New York or Los Angeles or Toronto.
And, so what are the big differences between a film production and a television production? Obviously, time is usually a big factor, but are there different people you typically answer to or different obstacles you have to get around?
Well, the thing is with a TV series, you've got individual episodes, right? So when you're doing a press kit, you're going episode 1 is this and episode 2 is that. And so you write all the synopsis for each particular episode, whereas with a film, it's a synopsis for the whole film. I would say that's one of the big differences. And then most likely on a TV series, you get a lot of guest stars, and often they're famous guest stars. So we'd still be doing the EPKs and the interviews and so on, but you'd want to schedule when a high-profile actor comes on as a guest role, make sure that everything's together. And you also have to keep in different actors have different requirements, and the director, you have to keep everybody in mind. I say it's often I often say this, it's like being a snake and you creep in and get what you need and then
get out of the way.
Let's just get out of the way, because obviously the main thing, you have to work around the production schedule. That's the other thing. I can't try to coordinate interviews with an actor who's in every scene. I have to pick days where they're in half the scenes and have some time for an interview. And it's not a day where they're in a stressful scene that maybe hangs on a bit. So they have to, feel comfortable that day to do the interviews.
Sure. I was going to ask you how you deal with, say, an actor that's obligated to work with you, but doesn't really have the energy or motivation to be the best person to give an interview. I'm not asking to name names or anything, but how do you typically get around that, or you just come back another day, or
Yes, sometimes you have to come back another day. And you try to work closely with the producers and the director, because often those actors will have a good relationship with the director, and hopefully they do, because it's really important. And you don't want to do anything to upset either one of them. And then sometimes you might just have to nudge the producer to say, this, this particular actor, we're not getting what we want. Can you help me here?
okay, yeah, I was wondering if that was the case, like because I can't imagine that every time you run into somebody's like looking forward to spending like saying that same line that they say to everybody when they, yeah, I got into acting because I like trees, or whatever that whatever there's the usual line is. That I know I have it when people ask about this show, and we're not even famous. So, um, how do you judge when you have done a good job?
Well, part of it's a feeling, and often you get compliments. So, I mean, and the fact that you get everything you want, like nothing's more exciting than the days when you
Okay,
get everything you want. Because there's
right.
lots of days where you really have to juggle, or you may only have an EPK for 2 or 3 days. So you definitely got to get all you want, and then you just go, yes, we just got everything we wanted. Or
Nailed it. Like,
you know,
yeah, okay.
that's probably one of the things that I can say that makes me excited.
I totally get that. I have rules in life. If I learn something new, if I help someone out, if I change something that needed changed, it's a good day. And like also, when you finish that goal, whatever the goal is, and knowing you did a great, like that feeling, I did a good job. I did what I set out to do, and it's there. Like that keeps you going on for the next one. And I think when people see that you're excited about that, then that's when they want to work with you again as well. They're like,
True
they
enough.
get the same enjoyment out of getting the results as I do having them get the results. Like I can trust them is the other part of it. So,
That's
um,
true.
so getting into your job specifically and away from working for others, how do you find new clients, and what do you do to look for them, and what do you look in them, and how do you who to avoid sometimes even?
I've been very blessed because I most of the time actors come to me, movies come to me.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I've been very blessed. Yes, of course, I've had times throughout my career where I've sent out my resume, and that's ended up getting the job. And then what's been so nice is often I just keep getting rehired. So, in particular production companies, if they hire me for one movie and then they do another, they just automatically call me. And in
That's beautiful.
just in this last month or so, I have had actors tell me that they only have ever had me as a publicist. And what happens with actors in particular is they need a publicist when they've got something coming out. They don't need a publicist all the time.
Sure.
So when they've got a movie coming out, a TV series or a book or something that they want to promote, that's when they hire a publicist. So for instance, Emmanuelle Vauger is my first client. I worked with her on 3 films, and then she came in one day and to my office and said, well, we've worked on 3 films together. Would you consider being my personal publicist? And I said,
Yes.
of course, I'd love to. And so she and I are still working together. We just went out for lunch at the Tea House in Stanley Park on Sunday. And so whenever she has something coming out, we have worked together through over the years on her 2.5 Men.
I
And
just saw her last episode. Well, the last episode she featured in. I think there was the final episode or something she may have been in, or a dream sequence.
oh, cool.
But yeah, I was like, hey, talking to her publicist tonight.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, she's incredible. That's I reached out in all fairness to everybody watching. I reached out to you to interview with her.
That's right.
And because I was just so impressed with her job on that show, like, and I just see it as her standing in this big pool of chaos and then still shining.
And it
And
will
that's
happen one day when she's
Oh.
got a few projects coming up, but not for a while. But when she's ready to promote them, I'll definitely let you know.
I appreciate it, and when people say no, I am fine with it. Sometimes they just, yeah, I've run into people that's not my thing, and I'm like, that's awesome. I appreciate it. I appreciate the answer back at the very least. The consideration is all you can expect from people, and whenever I get even that much, I'm happy with everybody. So that would be great if that happens, but I just wish the best for her either way. So I don't think she needs my wishing the best on it either. She has the talent to do whatever she wants. So along the lines of that, for not specifically with her, in fact, probably let's take her out of this question here. Is a publicist ever asked to give advice, career advice specifically, that is not about publicity? Like, should I take this role? Is this good or bad for my career? Do you feel okay giving that advice, or just depends per person?
If I get close to some clients, and other clients, it's business. Here's my information. I write the press release. Sometimes I haven't even met them in person, especially lately with all the, what we've gone through these last few years, because everybody's been on their own, so to speak. But yeah, so, and I have been asked sometimes what my thoughts are. For instance, one client was offered a soap opera, and between the two, and she was living in LA and engaged to a very famous person, and she would have to then go to New York for it. And then we kind of came to the decision that perhaps that wasn't the best move for her. And I also, in that particular situation, I talked to a few other more experienced actors to get their opinion, because I respected them and they knew this other actor. So, especially when it's something serious like that, because that could change their career and their life one way or the other.
Absolutely. Yeah. What you do next, like it could be what you do for the rest of your career.
Exactly.
Or I get that fear.
Or stop you from doing other things, because sometimes once you're in the soap opera genre, you sometimes don't get out of it.
Sure. Yeah, totally. And I've seen people, I've seen people start there, but people who have already had to start going into it, it sometimes seems harder to get out.
Right.
I'm not sure that's accurate, but that's just what I see as an outsider.
Mm-hmm.
The one question I have, I just have this picture in my head that all entertainment publicists kind of have this big circle. They know each other, and it's. Do you know each other in general? Like the people that handle the clients on the level or higher that you handle, like, oh, that's Beth, she's gonna screw that up, like sort of thing, or is there a friendly thing?
Well, I really don't communicate with a lot of other publicists, other than I've also coordinated lots of red carpets. So for 10 years, we did the big opening for the Vancouver Film Festival with Jet Set Crew, Lighthouse, and Bright Light Pictures. And so therefore, I do get to meet the publicists, because the publicists will walk with their clients down the red carpet. But
Gotta be exciting.
Yes, for sure. It was exciting. And if you at some point in time go to my the front page of our website, I have a link to all the video that for the Olympics we did red carpets every single night, and we hooked up a sport and say a TV show or a network, or it was very exciting. So,
it sounds intense too, by the way, just to coordinate all of it.
But it was fun, and what an experience. But so therefore, yes, I get to meet publicists in that respect. But at the same time, there's only so many actors who want publicists, and there's only so many publicists. So we don't necessarily, personal publicists, let me qualify that, don't necessarily get together. But as a unit publicist, I'm in the union 669, and all of us get together 4 times a year and have Zoom meetings to talk about the industry, what's happening,
Okay, yeah.
and so on, because there's been huge changes ever since COVID.
I can't even imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, the biggest change is there's just not as many jobs.
Unfortunately, especially unfortunately with all the additional venues for actors to work between online streaming, YouTube itself, there are actual television shows feel like actual TV shows produced for YouTube specifically,
Right.
and not through Google. And they're just like, we're going to put this out in this format and see what we can do. It's amazing to see the routes that people have, but it's sad to see that, you know, areas aren't bouncing back as well as I think they should. And I think that the strikes obviously put a little slowness on that, as much as
That was
I can't imagine, because we had some interviews with people who couldn't do interviews or didn't feel like they should during that, because we're like, we're not union, we just want to talk to you as a person, we don't care about if you promote something. But still, I understood the being seen as not doing the proper thing was also important, to make sure, you know, like, people see you doing, you know, staying in line. And I of course went with that, because, you know, I after hearing everything I heard, I was like, Fran's 100% right. Sorry. Like, what I'm hearing just seems to be a bunch of greedy people wanting more money, and it's not fair. And not to get too political or pick sides, but I totally picked a side on that, and it was for the talent. I did have a question here on the same lines. And maybe it's mostly misunderstanding. Is there do people take clients from each other? Is that a thing? Or once, you know, you have somebody, or do you get upset if that happens, if they just switch? Or
Well, often, for instance, if an actor gets a huge role in the States, in LA, and I'm based in Canada, they often need to go to somebody else that's more connected in the US. So yes, I've definitely had clients that I've worked with that end up also hiring a US publicist, and I have to definitely support them, because
Sure.
I don't have the connections that somebody living in LA would. So yes. And then also too, actors switch agents often if they don't feel like they're getting the jobs that they deserve. So the same thing happens with publicists. I've been blessed. Some of them have, and then they've come back, and some of them have and stayed with that person. So it just depends sometimes on what you're looking for, or where you are in your career, and also the budget that you have to work with, because some publicists are very, very expensive.
Hey everyone, welcome to Relationships. We are live tonight with Eric.